Welcome to another nighttime cook here at Delmarva Backyard. We're in Delaware, and that means it's dark at 5 o'clock in the winter. Sorry, can't do much about it, but the show must go on. So today's video is about pork. It's about cooking pork to what temperature? What temperature is the temperature that you think is safe to cook pork to? See, pork's not beef, but it's also not chicken and turkey. So it kind of falls in the middle, and that's why we have a little bit of discrepancy when it comes to pork. It was 2020, I think May of 2020, when the USDA changed their recommendation as far as an internal temperature to cook pork to. They changed it from 160 degrees Fahrenheit to 145 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was a bit skeptical when I first heard it myself. I've cooked a lot of pork over the years, and you know, I've cooked it all kinds of different ways. Sous vide, on the grill, smoked it, you know, whatever. But I've never really done a comparison of 145 degree Fahrenheit pork versus 160 degree Fahrenheit pork. We are going to cook a pork chop at 145 degrees, and then we're gonna cook another pork chop same way, same flavor, same everything, but up to 160 degrees. The pork carryover temperature, when I say carryover, I mean the amount that it rises after you remove it from the heat, is about 4 to 5 degrees. Before we get onto the cook, let's talk about why the USDA changed their recommendation. Two reasons. The first reason is trichinosis. Trichinosis is a bit of an infection that you just don't want. So cooking pork to 160 eliminated the potential to get trichinosis. However, trichinosis has been basically eliminated from the United States farms. And it's not something we really need to worry about at all anymore. So I think that was part of it, but the main reason and the listed reason as far as why the USDA now regulates pork at 145 versus 160 is because that's what they've held their federally regulated farms to. So any meat processing business that's federally regulated, in other words, you have an operation big enough to be federally regulated, you have been and will continue to be held to 145 degree Fahrenheit internal temperature for pork. So they wanted to merge the two recommendations. You had the home use and you had the commercial or federally regulated, and they wanted to merge them in to one. And so that's what they did. Let's find out. We're gonna cook these two pork chops on a absolutely perfect device. And because it's raining now, which we've dealt with a lot of around here on Delmarva Backyard, we're gonna try to do it under the porch as best that we can without catching the place on fire on the PK360, which is a steak machine, but it's also a pork chop machine. Let's get this thing fired up. PK360 is a wonderful charcoal grill. I'm a little curious as to why it was like dripping water. I've wiped it all off now, but dripping water on the PK360, and I mean, it's wet to the touch. It's so much condensation, I guess, under that cover. Unless the cover's not waterproof, I don't know. But to be very honest with you, I mean, the cover's not doing it much good if that kind of water is, you know, underneath of it. Perfect steak machine, and the reason for that is the even temperature. And so we're going to cook indirect and direct. We're going to put our coals here, and we're going to cook indirect over here. So we're going to go indirect until we get up to about 100 degrees, and then we'll go direct over here. And once the 145 steak is pulled, I'll move the 165 steak back over to indirect and let it finish coming up to temp. Turn just a little bit. Flip and turn. Check and 145. We're gonna go ahead and pull that guy. And that one we're gonna let go for another, I don't know, 15 degrees or so. I'm gonna flip him. $156, and so we're just gonna keep flipping this guy until we get to 160, which will be just in a few minutes. Now we're gonna let them rest for about 15 minutes. $145, $165. Which one is better for a pork chop? Very tender. That's really good. Lots of flavor. Juicy. Let's try this 165. These are both from the middle of the chop. Okay. The 145 steak, moisture, scale 1 to 10, 8.5. The 165 steak, moisture, 6.5. Tenderness, the 145 steak, 9.5. And the 165 steak, still pretty tender, but you could definitely notice a drier difference, which made for a little bit of a less tender bite. 8.5. I'm gonna be honest with you, both of them, they're both amazing. What I'm gonna suggest to you is about 150. 150 is somewhat in the middle, but a little more towards the juicier and the tender side. And I think that's the perfection. That's the zone for a pork chop. But you have to be very specific, very accurate with that 150. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. Tell us down in the comments below how you cook your pork chops. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to talk to you on the next video.